3 isn't always a crowd. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movie other guys who don't suck. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the guys in the love triangle who didn't get the girl, but who really weren't half bad themselves. We're not saying these guys should have gotten the happily ever after, we're just pointing out that they were pretty great too. Since the basis of this list is discussing who ends up with who, a spoiler alert is now in effect. Number 10. Daniel Danny Walker, Pearl Harbor.
Have you ever seen Pearl Harbor at sunset?
This one is a love triangle for the ages. Two best friends, Rafe and Danny, are fighting in World War II when Rafe's plane is shot down and he's presumed dead, leaving his girlfriend Evelyn and Danny to seek comfort with each other. But when Rafe returns, understandably pissed that his best buddy moved in on his girlfriend, Danny tries to make things right.
Stay away.
He ultimately sacrifices himself when they're captured by Japanese soldiers and sends Rafe home to take care of Evelyn and Danny's baby. Any guy willing to lay down his life for his buddy is okay in our books.
Hey, Ray, can you do me a favor? What? Can you let someone else write my name on the tombstone?
Number 9. Hector, Heck, Imagine Me and You.
Yeah, keep saying that. Let me pretend this is my choice.
Heck just wants Rachel to be happy, even if it's not with him. When he realizes that the person Rachel truly loves is a woman named Luce, he graciously steps aside and encourages her to be with the person who's truly right for her. Such a good guy, right?
You know, I want you to be happy.
In many movies like this, the guy usually turns out to be a real jerk, so you don't feel too bad for him when the woman leaves him. But this time, Heck doesn't do anything wrong. Rachel just can't love him the way he wants to be loved.
Which means that I've got to move.
Number 8. Rick Blaine, Casablanca.
I'm saying it because it's true. Inside of us, we both know you belong with Victor.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, Ilsa walks into Rick's. Desperate to get her husband out of the country before he's captured by Nazis, Ilsa visits her old flame Rick to get them travel papers. Funny thing is, even though Ilsa ends up staying with her husband, he's barely even in the movie.
You knew how much I loved you. How much I still love you.
Rick is the guy you end up rooting for, and much of the movie is spent reminiscing about their past love affair. But like any honorable man would, Rick wants Ilsa to be safe, even if it means being away from him, and the two part ways again. Well, they'll always have Paris.
He's looking at you, kid.
Number 7. Jacob Black, The Twilight Franchise.
You're marrying him?
Just to be perfectly clear, we are not taking sides in the endless Team Edward or Team Jacob debate. We're just saying Jacob is also a pretty valid choice for Bella. They definitely have chemistry and admittedly love each other. And he's even said himself that she wouldn't have to change for him.
You wouldn't have to change for me, Bella.
He might be a bit aggressive about making his feelings clear, but there's no doubt that if Bella decided to be with Jacob, he'd love her just as much as Edward would. And unlike his vampiric nemesis, Jacob definitely doesn't suck.
It's always been him.
Number 6. Quasimodo, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
You carry him, I carry you.
Esmeralda may have ended up with Phoebus, but Quasimodo was no slouch either. The entire plot of this movie is centered around misjudging people based on their appearance. And though people may see him as a monster, he's actually kind, brave, and beautiful on the inside.
I am a monster, you know.
He told you that?
Look at me.
Esmeralda is also misjudged for superficial reasons, so when she meets Quasimodo, the two easily bond and become best friends. They save each other's lives on several occasions and always have each other's backs. Although they don't end up together, Esmeralda never saw him as anything but beautiful.
You mistreat this poor boy the same way you mistreat my people.
Number 5. Philip F. Duckie Dale, Pretty in Pink.
Blaine? His name is Blaine? Oh, that's a major appliance. That's not a name.
We'll be the first to admit that Duckie suffers a bit from nice guy syndrome. He's Andy's longtime best friend without ever telling her how he really feels, and yet blames her for not feeling the same way. That's not the best.
Don't look to me to help pump you back up, cause maybe for the first time in your life, I won't be there.
But in the end, Duckie is a good friend to Andy. He's there for her when she's down, and is even the one who convinces her to forgive Blaine when he comes back for her. He may not be perfect, but Duckie's okay in our book.
If you don't go to him now, I'm never gonna take you to another prom ever again, you hear me?
Number 4, Josh Sanderson, To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Well, we're still cool, right?
Everyone seems to have reached a general consensus that Peter Kavinsky is totally swoon-worthy. But Lara Jean's best friend and other love letter recipient Josh deserves some credit too. Even though he was dating her sister, Josh never stopped being Lara Jean's best friend and never made her feel like a third wheel.
Look, did you mean what you wrote in the letter?
While things get a bit awkward when Lara Jean's letters get out, he does his best to handle it maturely and helps her sort out her true feelings about Peter. If anyone's truly deserving of his own love letters, it's Josh.
I know you love me.
Number 3, Gale Hawthorne, The Hunger Games franchise.
You're stronger than they are. You are.
This is another one of those shipping wars we're staying completely impartial to, but we will say that Gale was pretty great in his own right. Katniss may have decided Gale just isn't the right guy for her, but he is intelligent, brave, and a valiant fighter in the resistance against the Capitol.
You haven't hurt people, Katniss. You've given them an opportunity.
These two have been best friends for ages, and he probably knows Katniss better than anyone else does, even taking care of Katniss's family when she was in the games. Peeta is great and all, but Gale is still pretty awesome. Number 2, Lon Hammond Jr., The Notebook.
I think you have to marry me.
Poor James Marsden just can't catch a break. Well, except in the handsomeness department. Richard White doesn't stand a chance with Lois Lane. Prince Edward didn't get his fairy tale ending with Giselle. Well, at least in Enchanted, he does get a happy ending with Nancy. But when Noah comes back into Allie's life in The Notebook, there is no happily ever after for Lon Hammond Jr.
Marry me. Make me the happiest man in the world.
And there's nothing particularly wrong with Lon. He's kind, fun, and handsome. He's a man of wealth and privilege, and from the same world as Allie. It sounds perfect on paper, but he's just not Noah. It's one of those situations where, while they both seem like a great match, they're just not right for each other in the end.
In spite of everything, I love you.
Number 1, Nick Vaughn, Before We Go.
Excuse me. Thought you might want that back.
If you were stranded in New York City late at night and a strange man approached you in the subway offering his help, you would probably assume, just like Brooke, that he had some ulterior motives. Well, it turns out Nick is just a nice guy who tries his best to help Brooke get back home in time to avoid some life-changing drama.
So I think if you're committed to somebody, you don't allow yourself to find perfection in someone else.
Brooke presumably returns to her husband, but arguably should have stayed with Nick. We might be biased because we never even see the husband, and we get to accompany Nick and Brooke on an amazing all-night adventure. But we have no qualms taking sides on this one. We are Team Nick.
Thank you. Thank you for showing you that you can love more than one person in this life.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.